Lesson 3.12, exact values of trig functions in terms of radians. So what we have to do is draw each angle and then find the exact value of that function. We've learned that a semicircle goes from 0 to 180, or really pi, and so we can split this whole into parts. This would be half of that pi, so pi over 2. This would be bigger than a pi, so this is like one whole plus half another. That's 3 halves, or 3 pi over 2. And that this goes all the way around to 2 pi. It's double pi. So pi over 2 would be right here. This is my angle. I don't need to know anything other than this ordered pair up here would be 0, 1. And we're finding sine, which is the y value. So this would equal 1. Number 2 is cosine of 3 pi over 2. We already talked about how that would be down here because it's 1 and then half another pi. And this ordered pair is 0, negative 1. This time they want cosine at that point, so that would be the x value, which is 0. Then we have tangent of 0, which is over here. This ordered pair would be 1, 0. And tangent goes y divided by x. So we're taking 0 divided by 1, which is 0. Number 3 is tangent of negative pi over 2. So we're going negative, or clockwise, half a pi, which would put us here. That is the point 0, negative 1. And they want tangent, which is y divided by x, or negative 1 divided by 0, which can't happen, so that would be undefined. And then we have cosine of negative pi over 4. If we're going in the clockwise direction, we would want a fourth of this pi. Well, this is half of it, so a fourth of it would be split right down the middle here, which makes a 45, 45, 90. And so you need to memorize that the radius or the hypotenuse is always 1. The legs are square root of 2 over 2. And so the y value, or sorry, the x value, because it's cosine, the adjacent leg has a distance or a length of square root of 2 over 2. And that's the x, which is positive in quadrant 4. And then last but not least, we have tangent of 5 pi over 3. Thirds are a little harder, but we've got an improper fraction, which means it's bigger than 1 whole pi, right? I could write this as 3 pi over 3, so that's 3/3, 1 whole, plus 2 pi over 3, so 3/3 plus 2/3 is 5/3, 1 whole, plus 2/3 more. You could turn it into degrees if you're really struggling, but I'm thinking a third of pi, a third of my 180 would be 60, and 2 60s would be 120. So I'm 1 whole pi plus 120 more degrees, which would make me 90 plus what, 30 more? And so my triangle would look like this. And so how far away am I from the x-axis? Well, if this is a 30 distance here, that means that leaves me with 60. So basically what I'm saying is this was 180 degrees, a whole pi, plus this was 2/3 of another pi, and a third of 180 was 60 times 2 is 120. So when I added that together, that's really 300 degrees, which would put me here, or in other words, 60 degrees away. And so in a 60, 30, 90, we know our hypotenuse is 1, so we don't have to worry about that. We know our leg is 1/2, and then our height of it is square root of 3 over 2. And so I need tangent, which says the y over the x, so I'll take square root of 3 over 2 divided by a half, or times 2 over 1. The 2's cancel, so that would be square root of 3. But since I'm in quadrant 4, my y value is negative, making my answer negative square roots of 3.